Good afternoon. My name is Dave Thompson, and welcome to the 2018 Fall Convocation. Please rise for our national anthem performed by Haley Gilman, Sarah Hack, and Brittany Hayes, students from the School of the Arts.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now, please welcome Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs, Sue Ott-Rollins, to the stage.
Thank you, Haley, Sarah, and Brittany, for that marvelous performance. At this time, it is my special pleasure to introduce some guests we have with us today. So please stand as I call your name. The President of the Faculty Senate, Matthew Zakate. You can clap. The President of the Staff Congress, Sue Murphy Angel. The Chair of the Council of Chairs, Burke Miller. And members of the President's Cabinet, will you all stand, please, and be recognized? Thank you. We also have a number of community leaders, guests, and friends of the university with us here today. Would you all stand, please, and be recognized? I want to thank each of you for your support of the university, and I want to thank all of you who are here today for being here. It's a very important occasion for us. We have many new faculty and staff who have joined the university since our last convocation. I'm going to ask all new faculty and staff to please stand so we can recognize you as well. The president says, should I stand? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Over the past year, we've had the opportunity to recognize outstanding achievements of many of our NKU staff and faculty. The Regents Distinguished Service Award recognizes individual staff employees who have made exemplary contributions to the growth, image, and efficient operations of the university. Last spring, 3 individuals were recognized with the Regents Distinguished Service Award. Now, Pam Wager has since retired, so I don't imagine she's here today, but if she is, please stand along with Sheila Rubin and Connie Kiskaden so we can thank you for your service. During our annual Academic Affairs Faculty and Staff Honors and Awards ceremony in April, we recognized 15 faculty and staff members from Academic Affairs with awards in 12 different categories. We received 54 nominations for our awards program, and the quality of those nominees was outstanding. Therefore, receiving one of these awards represents a great honor. The recipients of these awards have made extraordinary contributions to NKU and have played an important role in the success of our students. So, will all faculty and staff who received awards at the Academic Affairs Honors and Awards April ceremony please stand and be recognized? Thank you. The Outstanding Professor Award has been in place since 1970. The award was endowed and retitled in 1996 as the Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award as the result of a gift from Dr. Carol Swartz in memory of her husband, Frank Sinton Milburn, a Burlington inventor known as the Cornfield Edison, who devoted his life to helping others turn their ideas into reality. The Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award honors a faculty member who has demonstrated excellence in teaching, scholarship, and service over his or her career. This year's honoree is David Singleton, Professor of Law in the Chase College of Law. David, will you please join me on stage? I'm going to introduce you.
Okay, all right.
That's great. Really great. It shows how appreciative we all are of you. David Singleton, Professor of Law, has been at NKU since 2007 and has had a dramatic impact on the university and the region. He's a practicing attorney and is the executive director of the Ohio Justice and Policy Center, a nonpartisan, nonprofit law office whose purpose is to reform Ohio's justice system. Professor Singleton regularly involves students in the work of the center, through which they work with other lawyers, interview current and formerly incarcerated clients, and even occasionally present arguments in court on behalf of these clients. David received his J.D. cum laude from Harvard Law School in 1991, and since then has worked for homeless populations in New York City and served as a public defender. Professor Singleton's nominators said the following about him. When I think about Professor Singleton and his contribution to our students at Chase Law and the legal profession, two phrases come to mind: change maker and ripple effect. He instructs students about the realities of the practice of law beyond the classroom textbooks, using real-time issues confronting clients to impress upon the students the complexity and the seriousness of the practice of law. Moreover, he engages in creative scholarship that greatly contributes to his field, and his service to our community is virtually unparalleled among his peers. Congratulations, David.
Thank you.
And I'm going to get your...
Okay. Well, good afternoon. First of all, I just want to express my deep gratitude for receiving this prestigious honor, which could have gone to any number of you. And the fact that I received it this year is fortuitous, but I'm grateful nonetheless. So thank you. I want to make some brief remarks about what I think we need to do as professors, as teachers, as shapers of the minds of young folks who are going to be the next generation of hopefully change makers in our community. And I want to suggest two things that we must do. And this may make some uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable up here saying this, but I'm going to say it nonetheless. The first thing that I think we must do is counteract in every way we can in our classrooms, in our conversations with our students, the relentless assault on truth in this era of alternative facts. We have an administration right now that attacks science, calls the press the enemy of the people, and undermines many of our cherished norms. And I think it's important that we help our students understand that what is becoming normalized are not the values that we hold dear. And I think that message has to be said over and over again. And if you're uncomfortable by what I said, and if you want to turn me off, you can't, because I've got the microphone. But stay with me. Stay with me and hear the second thing that is really critical. It is no secret that we live in times of great division in this country. I've never seen it in my 52 years on this planet be as polarized as it is today. And I think we must do what we can in ways that are big and ways that are small to help all of us, but particularly our students, find ways to have common ground with people who they deeply disagree with. I've done that in a small way through my teaching, also in my scholarship, but primarily through my teaching. And it involves bringing into the classroom the 5-year struggle that I was involved in at the Ohio Justice and Policy Center in trying to free a woman who had been wrongfully convicted and spent 23 years locked up for something she didn't do, and her name is Tyra Patterson. When I came here in 2001, and I tell my students this, I came from Washington, D.C., where I lived in a bubble. I lived in a progressive bubble, a cocoon. And I didn't like this community when I first came here. I had written people off who I'd never met. I wrote people off based on their politics. I'm deeply ashamed to admit that I did it, but I'm not all that different than most of us in this room. We've all done it to a certain extent. But then came Tyra in 2012, and we were seeking, the only relief we could seek for her was clemency. Getting clemency anywhere in the United States is really difficult. Governors don't like to do it. And particularly with Governor Kasich, he's been reluctant to use his clemency powers to right wrongs. But we wound up building a coalition of people that I personally did not agree with politically. We built a coalition of folks who went to go meet Tyra, elected officials, formerly elected officials, conservative Republicans, who took their time and went to go meet Tyra Patterson. People like Joe Dieters, who we are constantly at odds with each other, but Joe Dieters went to go meet Tyra. Jean Schmidt, my former congresswoman, went to go meet Tyra. And this coalition was very powerful in trying to right this wrong. And it told me that I was wrong for some of the things that I had said about these individuals in the past. And this had a happy ending because on Christmas morning, this past Christmas morning, we walked Tyra out of prison after 23 years, locked up. And she is now my colleague at the Ohio Justice and Policy Center and is absolutely soaring. And if you don't know anything about her case, Google Tyra Patterson and you'll pull up bunches. But the lesson of that story is that we've got to find common ground. We've got to do it. And we've got to find a way to create a climate here at this great university for people to have honest differences across the political spectrum. That doesn't mean that we have to abandon our strongly held beliefs. Doesn't mean that at all. But what it does mean is that we have to be open to the fact that we don't know everything, and teach our students that they don't know everything, and they need to be open-minded. And they have to be willing to embrace that which is uncomfortable. And if we do that, if we counter this assault on facts and on truth, and at the same time find a way to forge common ground, I think we will have not only a better university, a better Northern Kentucky, but a better country and a better world. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I deeply appreciate this honor.
Thank you, David. The Regents Professorship is awarded from time to time to those full professors who, at the apex of their careers, have an exceptional record of achievement in scholarship or creative activity that has brought acclaim to the university and is consistent with the university's core values. The award celebrates the accomplishments of the recipient and provides support through time and resources for the professor to focus on his or her work. Such work should bring further acclaim to the university and ultimately enhance the full breadth of the professor's work. All of the applicants for the Regents Professorship were exceptional and a very accomplished faculty this year, representative of our very best. This year's honorees are Ken Jones, Professor of Theater in the School of the Arts in the College of Arts and Sciences, and Jonathan Reynolds, Professor of History in the Department of History and Geography in the College of Arts and Sciences. Ken and Jonathan, where's Jonathan? There you are. Will you join me on stage, please? It's always a show. Ken Jones has been part of NKU since 1987 and is the Rosenthal Distinguished Professor of Theater. At NKU, he's been the recipient of the College of Arts and Sciences Outstanding Junior Faculty Award. It was a while back. As well as the Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor Award. Ken served as the chair of the Department of Theater and Dance for 11 years and was the founding director of the NKU School of the Arts. He earned his Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in acting and directing from the University of Florida, a Master of Fine Arts degree in playwriting from the University of Virginia, and continued on to graduate in playwriting from the Institute of Advanced Theater Training at Harvard University. Ken has had 27 plays produced with 10 published, 9 musicals, 4 CDs of original soundtrack scores, and listings in several anthologies and monologue books. Congratulations, Ken. They're not going to speak, but we'll keep them up here. Dr. Jonathan Reynolds graduated from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville with a triple major in history, anthropology, and classics in 1988 and finished his PhD in African history in 1995. Dr. Reynolds came to NKU in 1999 and teaches courses in African, world, and food history, as well as historical methods and various courses in the honors program, now the Honors College. Jonathan served on the editorial boards of H. Hausa, H. Africa, and the ABC Clio Encyclopedia of World History. In 2005, he was elected to the executive board of the World History Association. He currently serves as an associate editor for World History Connected and on the executive board of the Journal of West African History. He has published in many journals, and in 2012, along with co-author Dr. Eric Gilbert, published the third edition of Africa in World History, From Prehistory to the Present, a core text for African history survey courses. A Chinese edition of the text was also released in 2007 and a Turkish edition in 2017. Congratulations, Jonathan.
Please welcome to the stage Sarah Cox, Haley Gilman, Sarah Hack, Brittany Hayes, Sally Mozinski, Matthew Noceda, Colin Newton, and Tyler Rosenblatt. These students from NKU's Students of the School of the Arts will perform Our Time from Merrily We Roll Along by Stephen Sondheim, accompanied by School of the Arts faculty member, Professor Jamie Strawn.
Something is stirring, shifting ground, it's just begun. Edges are blurring all around, and yesterday is done. Feel the flow, hear what's happening, we're what's happening. Don't you know, we're the movers and we're the shapers.
We're the names in tomorrow's papers, up to us now to show up.
It's our time, breathe it in, worlds to change and worlds to win. Our time coming through, me and you, yes, me and you.
Feel how it quivers on the brink. What? Everything. Gives you the shivers, makes you think there's so much stuff to sing. And me and you will be singing it like the birds. Me with music and you the words. Tell them things they don't know. Up to us now to show up. It's our time, breathe it in. Worlds to change and worlds to win. Our turn, we're what's new. Me and you, pal, me and you. Feel the flow, hear what's happening. We're what's happening. Long ago, all we had was that funny feeling, saying someday we'd send them reeling. Now it looks like we can. Someday just began. It's our heads on the block. Give us room and start the clock. Our time coming through. Me and you, pal, me and you. Me and you, me and you, me and you.
Please welcome Student Body President and Student Regia, Hannah Edlin. Hannah is a double major in economics from the Hale U.S. College of Business and in communication from the College of Informatics with minors in organizational leadership and honors.
It's a special feeling when a place full of what seems like strangers on day one becomes a home. A place where community and belonging is a priority, a place where students become artists, singers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, and inspirational leaders. A place where you can feel the flame as soon as you step into the classroom. And a place that continues to strive to be better. We are all so lucky to be a part of that place. That place we call home, that place we call Northern Kentucky University. It is crazy to think that all this magic started all those years ago at just a little train stop. And we get to be a part of that same vision. In the upcoming year, I ask you to tap into what gets you excited about your work. Reach down deep and find that fire and excitement that you had when you started here. And if you can't find it, look to your students like me. Look to your colleagues and look to your community to help you find that. This year, there is no shortage of excitement. With the new Health Innovation Center opening, the new Honors College, our 50th anniversary, and our new president, we have so much to be excited for. After spending some time with Dr. Vaidya this summer, I have so much hope and optimism for the future of this university, for the future of our family. Now, before we embark on this exciting future with Dr. Vaidya, let's take a look back at our year-long 50th anniversary celebration. And now, please join me in welcoming to the stage your 6th NKU President, Dr. Ashish Vaidya.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, please. Please, thank you. Please. Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly wonderful to see all of you here at the start of the new academic year. And a special welcome to our students, our faculty and staff, for whom the beginning of the fall semester is especially a significant event. You know, when I said I'm not a morning person, I really didn't expect it to change the timing from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. But I think our students are okay with that. Hannah, congratulations on being elected the Student Government President. I appreciate your words about this university, the impact NKU has had on you, and the tremendous service that you have committed to on behalf of your fellow students. And speaking of our students, our performers are excellent examples of the remarkable talent within our School of the Arts. Let's just give them another round of applause. David Singleton, firstly, congratulations on being named the Frank Sinton Milburn Outstanding Professor, and thank you for your thoughtful remarks. This is clearly a well-deserved honor, but your courage in what you said here on the stage is truly remarkable. And I'm just deeply appreciative that you are a colleague, and I'm proud to be associated with you and the rest of your colleagues here at NKU. We have our previous Milburn Award winners here as well, and I want to thank them for their continued success and their commitment to our students. Stuart Rowlands, thank you for your work in support of our students and our faculty. I think I know how difficult the job of the provost is, but I also know how incredibly rewarding it can be. As we consider service to our university, let me recognize some individuals who contribute to our university in particularly important ways. The members of our governing board of regents. Our board chair, Lee Shaban. I understand he's vacationing in Greece and could not be with us today. Why he would choose to vacation in Greece with his family instead of being here, I just don't understand. Vice Chair of the Board, Andre Ward. Board Secretary, Norm Damaris. He is not vacationing in Greece, but in Frankfurt today. To clarify, that's Frankfurt, Kentucky. Malka Bernowski, our faculty regent. Dave Bauer, our staff regent. Rich Bainey. Ashley Himes. Regent Himes is getting ready for the start of the school year, so she couldn't be here today. Regent Terry Mann, Dennis Rupenning, Greg Shoemate, and of course, our student regent, Hannah Edlin. It is a pleasure to officially welcome you as part of the board, and we appreciate your service to the students and to this entire university. I would also like to welcome our former NKU presidents, Dr. Leon Booth and Dr. James Vitruba, who are here with us today. Thank you for joining us for today's convocation. Leon surprised me by dropping in on the first week of my work here, in shorts, no less. We do owe them a special thanks, not only for their service to NKU during their time as presidents, but their continued support and pride in the university. Jim, you have been an incredible resource to me, and I'm honored to call you both a friend and a mentor. We are honored to have many of our Northern Kentucky Legislative Caucus members with us today, and I'd like to call out Senator Will Schroeder, who's with us today. Thank you for being here. And to our community and business leaders, friends, and donors who make NKU the special place it is, your presence today demonstrates a commitment to this institution. Special thanks to former Secretary of State Ken Harper, emeritus member of the NKU Foundation, and a key state legislator during his time here at Northern Kentucky. We also have Barry Kinzel, president of the NKU Foundation and a member of the first graduating class in 1973 for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Lastly, well, sure, absolutely. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge and welcome my wife, Nita, who joins us today. On Wednesday, August 15th, Nita and I celebrate our 32nd wedding anniversary. I got the date right. Yeah. 32 years ago, a pair of young graduate students working on their PhDs started an unknown adventure, and it has been an incredible journey so far. filled with many joys, and I thank you for that. Most importantly, it produced two wonderful children, now college graduates, and employed too, thank goodness. My daughter is with me today. Two dogs, Coco is still with us, and countless memories. I'm indeed lucky to have the support of my family and friends throughout my professional career. Since my last announcement in November, I've had the opportunity to visit the university and the region several times, meeting as many people as possible, attending the 50th anniversary homecoming celebrations, becoming familiar with the area, and even making a visit down to Frankfurt with Jerry St. Amand. Speaking of Jerry, let me acknowledge and thank Jerry for his tremendous service to NKU, not just during his time as interim president, but throughout his stellar 19 years at NKU. We have developed a special and close friendship and a kinship. But contrary to the rumors, it is not because we both share a liking for a certain type of beverage. This is a special year for NKU. In 1968, thanks to members of the Northern Kentucky community who lobbied for a new institution, Northern Kentucky State College was born. Just a year later, more than 1,000 students enrolled as the institution began to prepare for its move to its new home in Highland Heights. This milestone birthday is an opportunity for NKU to reflect on its remarkable past, celebrate its present distinction as this region's premier engaged university, and anticipate an exciting future. 50 years ago, a group of visionary leaders came together to build a university, develop outstanding programs, establish honored traditions, set the teaching and learning standards for those who followed, and above all, put students at the center of all we did. These words are etched on a plaque outside Founders Hall. I can relate to what our founders were feeling as it mirrors my own experience at Cal State Channel Islands. The excitement of building a university from the ground up, with a clear mission of placing students at the center of all we did. What I learned was that forging a path through uncharted waters is both exhilarating and daunting at the same time. It takes collaboration, innovation, and entrepreneurial spirit to realize a collective vision. It requires an environment where bold ideas are nurtured and encouraged, even if they sometimes fail. And most important, I learned to appreciate the contributions of all constituents in growing an institution, from the grounds and facilities staff to the faculty, from business and community leaders to our K-12 and community college partners. 50 years ago, NKU had no reputation to speak of, no alumni base to count on, and no accomplishments to point to, only a promise of what was to come. The founders and the community took a huge risk with a singular purpose: to serve the people of this region, many of whom had no college options and were place-bound. And what a glorious 5 decades it has been. We have gone from farmland to the vibrant university we are today. But it's not just NKU's physical transformation that has been impressive. NKU has established itself as a model for public engagement through its contribution to the economic, social, and civic vitality of this region. We are blessed to have founding faculty still teaching here, and the pioneering students who joined us on an uncertain adventure are still active alumni today. I have met many of our accomplished alumni in the past few weeks, and their response is very consistent. NKU changed my life. And if it weren't for NKU, I wouldn't be in the position I am. One does not have to look very far to see how much our alumni are both supporting NKU and changing the community. 6 of our regions are proud alums, and a 7th one will soon be. Right, Hannah? I had the pleasure of meeting Emerson Brumback, who retired as president and chief operating officer of M&T Bank in 2007 after 10 years of service. He had a 30-year career in banking, which included positions as chairman, president, and chief executive officer of Bank One Cincinnati. Emerson is a 1973 political science graduate of NKU and currently serves on the board of Fifth Third Bank. Emerson has been a strong supporter of NKU. He and his wife have 2 endowed scholarships. And now, thanks to his help, we are looking to deepen our relationship with Fifth Third Bank. Recently, Cincinnati Bell hosted a reception to introduce me to the alums that are employees last month. I was so pleased to see so many alums that are valued members of the Cincinnati Bell team. One of our alums was J.K. Anderson II, a 2010 graduate in communication studies, and I believe J.K. is with us today. He spoke to me about how much mentorship made a difference in his life as a first-generation college student. Knowing that we proudly serve many first-generation students, he suggested that we consider a more formal mentorship program, and he was ready to sign up as a mentor. I have 2 young kids at home, he said, but I'm happy to spend some time with students over lunch or coffee. Now, this alum story is both inspirational and unique. She earned her BS in biology and BA in chemistry in 1984. She went on to earn her PhD in biochemistry at Harvard University and completed a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Cincinnati College of Medicine. She started as an assistant professor in NKU Department of Chemistry in 1993 and has since served as associate professor, and chair of the department. Her focus throughout her career has been on issues of retention, advising, and curricular reform. Along with several other STEM faculty, she helped direct an NSF STEM grant that supports low-income students through a highly successful cohort model. Today, Diana McGill serves as the Dean of NKU's College of Arts and Sciences, the largest college we have. In case you're wondering, it's a nice hat there you have, Diana. Our students and alumni have done so much to shape the region over the past 50 years, and our current students are poised to continue NKU's strong legacy of regional stewardship. Helping our students succeed academically so they can lead successful careers and meaningful lives is ultimately part of NKU's commitment to serving the region and the needs of this community. This pioneering spirit and commitment to regional stewardship is also reflected in our academic programs, our colleges, schools, centers, and institutes. Here are just a few fine examples we have established over the years. The College of Informatics, enabling students and the region to drive in an age of innovation and digital transformation. The Institute of Health Innovation within the new Health Innovation Center, advancing NKU's commitment to impacting population health issues. The School of the Arts, NKU's creative engine. The Center for Integrative Natural Science and Mathematics, or CINSAM as we call it, dedicated to enhancing the teaching, learning, and application of STEM all the way from preschool through undergraduate levels around our region. The Scripps Howard Center for Civic Engagement, promoting public stewardship, citizenship, and engagement through learning, scholarship, and capacity building in the community. And the Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, igniting a passion for the entrepreneurial mindset in our students and a culture of innovation throughout the region. The recent partnership between our middle grades education program and the R.A. Jones Middle School in Florence is another example of our commitment for K-12 education. We are working together to move teacher preparation out of the college classroom and into the field. R.A. Jones' principal, Tony Pastura, happens to be a 2007 graduate of NKU. He initiated this partnership when he approached our education program with an idea to help the next generation of teachers. Our remarkable accomplishments are a cause for celebration and pride. Yet we find ourselves confronting a very different landscape today than the one in 1968. Public higher education across the nation is being challenged like no other time in its history. Declining state support, changing student demographics, weakening public support for the value of college, and our own uneven attention to serving students have come together to create severe financial pressures. Someone describes it as follows: public higher education is faced with more volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity than ever before. I know that NKU endured a very challenging and lengthy budget planning and execution period this past year. Not only did we have to deal with closing a structural gap, but the uncertainty surrounding the pension liability was frustrating, to say the least. I made it clear during those early visits that I felt the latter was an issue which required a different approach and should not be a burden placed squarely on our shoulders. The pension crisis is not of our doing and requires a collaborative solution with all parties at the table. Later this fall, we will invite the Executive Director of the KERS Pension Board, David Iger, to campus and engage in a dialogue about approaches to mitigate the impact on institutions like NKU. Despite the challenges of making reductions and reallocations, I have tremendous admiration and regard for the resiliency that the university demonstrated during this process. And I was pleased to lend my support for the 3% compensation pool set to take into effect on January 1, 2019. I have requested HR to seek input on the ways in which we can make those allocations, and I encourage the campus community to share your thoughts. Investing in our people will remain a high priority for me, and I look forward to conversations about how future increases can be aligned with collaborative efforts that advance our institutional outcomes. Now, I believe this is an exciting time for NKU to actively represent the idea of what a college education means to our citizens and to the future of the Commonwealth and our nation. And my optimism stems from things I'm discovering both about NKU and the region. We have many distinctive features and assets: dedicated faculty and staff, strong academic programs, the opening of the Health Innovation Center, our partnership with the University of Kentucky College of Medicine and St. Elizabeth Healthcare to launch a 4-year medical school next year, significant engagement with and tremendous support of the community, and the rise of Norse athletic programs, to name just a few. The greater Northern Kentucky-Cincinnati region is a diverse, thriving ecosystem with vibrant neighborhoods, world-class arts and dining, and engaged communities. This region has strong industry clusters in advanced manufacturing, biohealth, food, and IT. It has established itself as a top startup region, gets high marks for livability, is considered one of the best places for new college grads, for jobs, fun, and affordability, and even made the New York Times top 10 best places to visit list in 2018. What this region needs is more talent in tech and health-based fields, more civically engaged and community-minded citizens, and more innovations to address the critical and pressing social and health-related challenges of today and tomorrow. By renewing our commitment to the promise made by our founders, NKU is in an excellent position to continue to meet and to exceed the expectations of the region and our students. In the words of our founders, to keep our spirit alive, those who follow must remain true to the university's long-standing core values, those core values of access and opportunity, diversity, inclusion, and equity, innovation, collegiality. Ensure that student learning remains the university's focus. Be open to new ideas and different ways of doing things, and remember our commitment to serve the broader community. This past week, I asked you via a web survey what student success meant to you and what institutional achievement you were most proud of. Your answers were surprisingly consistent, and some of you were very generous with your comments. Here's what some of you said. When NKU meets student needs on their own terms rather than ours. A successful student is one who gains the kind of education that will inspire them to be a lifelong learner, an innovative thinker, a creative problem solver, and an effective communicator. And then this one. Student success can be compared to the navigation of a great Viking ship. Everyone on this higher education voyage must act in unison for the adventure to be a success. All faculty, staff, and students need to row together towards a common goal: graduation. And then what are you most proud of? The opportunity to collaborate with school districts, K through 12 teachers, and our alumni to provide opportunities on our campus for support of student learning and the development of a college and career-ready mindset in K through 12 partnership. Here's another one. While budget woes are never something to cheer about, developing an understanding of how effective advocacy can help any good cause was something many students learned about firsthand. Student leadership worked closely with universities' leaders in raising awareness and promoting individuals to contact their elected representatives. Change comes when passionate, conscientious, and responsible citizens use their voice. And one more. The NKU spirit lives on in our alumni, and that has been rewarding to witness this past year. The commitment from our alumni to help students succeed includes writing letters of support, making phone calls to welcome new students, participating in career panel discussions, supporting college initiatives, and preparing students for life after college. As I reflect on those inspiring and enlightening comments, as well as those I've heard in my first month on the job, I am convinced that a focus on advancing student success aligned with the needs of the region as a singular strategic purpose will not only live up to the tenets of our founders, but will propel us to a financially sustainable future as well. I asked our wonderful IR folks to crunch some numbers for me. My question was, what if we set as a goal a 70% six-year graduation rate for our entering fall 2018 freshman class? That graduation rate, by the way, would rank us as the top public university in the state of Kentucky. And yes, would even surpass that other public school over the river. What would retention rates we would need to have to make this goal? How many more students would we serve each year compared to our historical average? Here's what institutional research told me. We would serve an additional 246 students in year 2, 364 students in year 3, and 440 students in year 4. That's over 1,000 more students over a 4-year period. In effect, that translates into almost $10 million in extra revenue. Incidentally, the advancement of this work aligns perfectly with the Council of Post-Secondary Education's strategic agenda, the Commonwealth's educational attainment goal, and the metrics embedded in the state's performance funding model. Even more important, the pursuit of this singular strategic purpose aligns with our mission to nurture and develop human, social, and civic capital to drive economic and social mobility for this region. It is not an exaggeration to say NKU keeps the dream of opportunity burning bright. So how are we to embark on this work? How do we develop better solutions in the services of current and future students? I'm reminded of the story of transatlantic travel. From the mid-19th century to the 1960s, millions of people crossed the oceans in passenger ships. Motorized ships brought a huge improvement in speed and reliability. While a sailing ship needed 1 to 2 months to cross the Atlantic, the first steamships made the journey in just 15 days. The record for the fastest time to cross the Atlantic by an ocean liner was 3 days and 10 hours. While the best and brightest engineers, inventors, and designers from around the world were applying their talents to building a faster ship, in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the Wright brothers were busy inventing an altogether different approach to this problem, one that would render even the fastest ship obsolete. Today, higher education is at a similar inflection point. We are being challenged to serve and graduate a wide range of students, those making the transition from high school to adults returning to complete a credential, from transfer students to those seeking a post-baccalaureate degree, from single parents to veterans. And we are being asked to do this with better student learning outcomes, lower cost, and without compromising quality. A couple of years ago, at the annual meeting of the American Association of State Colleges and Universities, ASCU, there was a session on strategy that has stuck with me. Vijay Govindrajan, VG as he's known, was a professor of Dartmouth College Stuck School of Business, who laid out a methodology for developing future innovation. The audience were all academics and presidents. He asked, how can we meet the performance requirements of our existing core functions while dramatically reinventing them? He introduced a method for allocating the organization's energy, time, and resources in balanced measure across what he calls the 3 boxes. Box 1, the present. Manage the core mission at peak performance. Box 2, the past. Selectively forget ideas, practices, and attitudes that could inhibit creativity and innovation. And box 3, the future. Convert breakthrough ideas into new ways of serving and graduating students. For us to advance student success effectively, we must quickly improve on the things we are doing well in ways that will yield better results. Second, we must learn from and selectively forget the past. What are the things that are not working well anymore that we can shed in order to divert more resources elsewhere? And third, we must design entirely new ways to serve current and future students. While the rest of the universities are focusing on building a faster ship, we should also be thinking about inventing our own airplane, if you will. Even as the wise Yogi Berra warned us, you've got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going, because you might not get there. It seems simple enough, but the execution is the key. How does one simultaneously optimize the performance of our current student success initiatives and develop new ways of fulfilling our core mission of serving students? This theory suggests that while we must allocate resources to making a better ship, box 1 as it were, we should also allocate some resources to support breakthrough innovations, or box 3. During informal conversations with many of you, I heard loudly and clearly, we don't have the luxury of time to show positive results. A tightly focused, action-oriented approach would help achieve meaningful results fairly quickly if the initiative is done thoughtfully and intentionally. Some of you also shared with me, we could do with less thinking and discussing and more doing. And others have said, perhaps a 5-year plan is too long since the landscape changes quickly. Let's be nimble and agile and adjust along the way. So, let us consider how we might utilize this 3-box methodology in an accelerated format of 6 months to develop a 3-year strategic framework for Northern Kentucky University. Again, based on what I heard, we need focused conversations so that we can be specific about our big, bold student success goals for NKU around access, completion, and career success. We need to develop milestones and metrics by which we hold ourselves accountable. We need to identify a focused set of 3 to 5 projects with actionable steps to execute the strategy in each of those boxes. And we need to keep the students at the center of our thinking while we generate ideas, prioritize and launch pilots, assess effectiveness, scale strategies that work, and discard those that don't. Throughout this process, we will commit to the following principles. Number 1, create a highly collaborative and transparent process that both engages and empowers our faculty, staff, students, and the community to action. We will foster an environment that encourages prudent risk-taking and acceptance of failure. We will communicate frequently and celebrate successes together. And finally, we will align resources, structures, and incentives to execute this strategy. In the coming weeks, we will assemble a team that will facilitate the process for developing our strategic framework. I will work with the Faculty Senate, Staff Congress, Student Government, and the Alumni Association to nominate individuals to this team, while we invite other faculty, staff, students, and community members to join us. NKU and the surrounding community's reputation of embracing bold ideas, thriving by doing things differently, and can-do attitude is why I'm confident that this approach will succeed. This process will look and feel differently to you this time around. It is not business as usual, because it cannot be. Herb Kelleher, the former CEO of Southwest Airlines, once said, "We have a strategic plan. It's called doing things." This is even more appropriate today, as most organizations, especially universities, do a lot of planning and not enough doing. Writing NKU's next chapter will require the effort and talents of every single one of you, students, faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, and community members. The adventure we're all about to begin will not always be easy, but it will be rewarding, and it'll be successful because we're all in it together. For most of you, you know how important this work is and have been an integral part of the planning and success that has gotten us this far. For some of you, this is your first taste of what's to come. As you enter the ballroom today, you might have seen a list of employees scrolling across the screen for whom this will be their first convocation, just as it is mine. I have been in Northern Kentucky for only a short while, but I get asked many questions. So I thought I would share with you the top 5 questions I've been asked since my arrival. Here we go. Number 5. Have you tried Skyline Chili yet? No, I have not. But Nita, maybe Wednesday for dinner? I guess not. What about Grader's ice cream? Yes, indeed. Celebrity chef Bobby Flay and I have something in common. We both love black raspberry chip. Question number 3. You know you have to be a Bengals fan now, right? Sorry. Sorry. My heart bleeds red and gold of the 49ers and the black and gold of the Norse. Question number 2 that I've been asked. How do you pronounce your last name?
Ashish Vaidya.
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 Mr. President.
Ashish Vaidya.
Ashish Vaidya.
We were trying to get Regent Rich Bainey's comment from last November, but we couldn't find the clip. Here's a little tip. Emphasize the first syllable. Vaidya. Okay, we'll work on it. Don't worry, we'll work on it. And the number 1 question I've been asked since my arrival. What's your vision for NKU? Well, today marks the day we begin to collectively answer that last question. We are Northern Kentucky's university, and over the next 6 months, we will redefine the narrative about the purpose and value of an entrepreneurial and engaged state university for the next half-century. Next Monday, we will welcome to campus more than 14,000 men and women ready to learn and grow and thrive. We will welcome them to a place that they will call home, a place they belong. Paraphrasing what Maya Angelou once said, our students will forget what you said, they may forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. On that note, I cannot wait until next Monday when our campus is alive and busy with the comings and goings-on of our students. After all, they are why we are here. Thank you once again for all that you do on behalf of the university and our students. I am truly honored and privileged to be your president, to be of service to this great university. Have a wonderful week, and I wish you a successful and rewarding semester. Thank you.
Once again, please welcome students from the School of the Arts to perform NKU's Alma Mater.
Northern, let your vision lead us, hearts of women, men, and youth. Help us seek the higher virtues, guide us to the greater truth. Northern, northern alma mater, may our lives enrich your name, and in time leave us your children, better far than when we came.
That concludes NKU's Fall 2018 Convocation. Thank you for attending and have a wonderful year.